Sir, I wanted to share some things with you so that it'd be on record. Health isn't too good right now, and that's why I've been saying in my last few letters to you, I need to hear from you because daddies don't live forever. My father died when I was 17, died of a massive heart attack on Christmas Eve. It was devastating for me, not just his death, but also the time of his death, because my father and I were just beginning to get to know one another better. I started asking him questions about him and his marriage to my mother and divorce from my mother, things of that nature. And there's no doubt in my mind that if he had lived longer, we would have drawn even closer together. But that unexpected heart attack just ended all that. So even now, as an adult, I just ask a lot of questions, have a lot of questions that really only my father could have answered. So I just say to you, little girl, I know you have a lot of questions, and you'll have more questions as you grow older about your father, about what I've done, what I haven't done, about marriage to your mother, why your mother and I divorced. And I just want to say to you, kid, while I'm still around, while I'm still kicking, ask daddy, because daddies don't live forever. All right? Now, Sarah, there's some things I wanted to bring up to you. There's a time in family court where your mother's attorney said that I made a number of harassing phone calls to your mother. And as a consequence, I should not be allowed to see you again. And he actually had me on, I guess, the box or whatever, had me swear an oath to the judge. He showed me your mother's phone record, and he said, "Is this your phone number?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "Is this your ex-wife's phone number?" I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "Did you make all these phone calls?" So I looked at these phone calls. There were a lot. Some of them were like 2, 3 in the morning. And I looked at them, and I said, "No, I didn't. It was your mother's phone bill. It was in black and white." And he asked me 3 times. He said, "You did not make all these calls." I said, "No, I did not." He said, "Do you understand this is a bill, your ex-wife's phone bill?" I said, "Yep." "And this is your number?" I said, "Yep." "And this is your ex-wife's number?" I said, "Yep." "And you're saying you did not make these calls?" And I said, "No, I didn't." Afterwards, I was amazed. I was stunned because I was beginning to think, well, maybe daddy's lost his mind. So I went to a friend of mine, your Uncle Doug, my close friend. I said, "Man, I didn't make those calls, but how would that come up on the phone record like that?" He said, "Corbin, go to your phone carrier and ask them if you made those calls, if they have record of you making those calls." So I went to my phone carrier. Sarah, I went to my phone carrier not once, not twice, but 3 times. Notarized statement. I asked my phone carrier, "Do you stand by what you're saying here with these records?" He said, "Yes, sir, we do." Not once, not twice, but 3. My phone carrier said, "Sir, you did not lie on the stand. You did not make those phone calls." So how did all those phone calls appear on your mother's record? It was one of your cousins who explained to me, they have these apps where you could make a phone call and you can punch in a number and it will show the number you punch in, not the number that you're actually calling from. There's a lot of issues that come up with that. Who did that? And why would you do that? And why would you present those lies in family court? Why would you go to that? Sarah, let me make this real clear to you. I don't blame your mother at all. In fact, I don't believe your mother really wanted to do that. I put that squarely on her attorney's shoulders. Never lie in a court of law. Number 1. 2, never lie. 3, never associate yourself with a professional who would conduct himself in that manner. Share another story with you. The last time we were together, you were talking to me, we were taking a walk around the block talking. You said, "Daddy, I don't want to see you again." I was stunned, of course, hurt. But I said, "Well, baby, what's the problem? What's wrong?" And you said, "Well, nothing. I just don't want to see you again." You gave no reason whatsoever. So I said, "Well, baby, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong?" And you gave no reason. Now, later on, your mother was instructed to call Child Protective Services in Boone County. And this is what they were told, that I threatened to shove you in front of a car, I threatened to kill you and sell your organs, and I threatened to put you into sex slavery. Period. That's what was said. I was like, wow. So then, again, I go to your Uncle Doug. I said, "Man, what do you say?" He said, Corbin, is your daughter saying that under oath? And I said, no, not that I know of. He said, is your daughter said that? A signed statement and a notarized statement? I said, no. I said, okay. He said, but that's what Child Protective Services were told. And I said, yes, that's exactly what they were told. He said, but your daughter is not going on record saying that. I said, no. That's number one. Number two, the social worker, I think her name was Rachel Flynn. She later submitted a report that said, hey, we think Mr. Severs did X, Y, and Z, 5 accusations. And I was stunned. 3 out of the 5, I was able to disprove, clearly disprove. One of them was that I went to Park Duval Health Clinic and I was rejected services there because of my behavior. So I picked up the phone. I called Park Duval and I said, did you guys say this to this social worker that I was rejected services because of my behavior? They became livid. They said, no, sir, no. And they asked me to come into the office and they apologized to me. They said, nobody in this office said anything like that. And in fact, they even showed me where every time I went into their office, they made notes. And they said, this guy's fine. He looks fine, no problem. He's just deeply concerned. He wants help to reconnect with his daughter. He wants family counseling with his daughter. There's nothing wrong with him outside of the fact that he's hurt. He wants the family counseling with his daughter. So I said, well, did the social worker call you? And they said, no, sir. Even though I had it on record that the social worker and anybody else had permission to review any of my medical records at Park Duval. I said, did the social worker call? They said, no. I said, did my ex-wife's attorney call? They said, no. So I said, then how did she reach such a conclusion? They said, sir, you have to ask her because she didn't call us. There's no record of it. And if she did call us, we wouldn't have said anything like that because we have no record of it. We had no concern about your behavior. Wow. That's just one example of how I disproved everything that social worker said about me. I appealed it, and to some office, some attorney people in Frankfurt, the Frankfurt people gave me a hearing. I was going to drive all the way to Frankfurt. You know how much your daddy don't like to drive. They called me a week or two before the appointment. They said, Mr. Severs, there's no need for you to come in. We are going to dismiss this. I said, are you sure? They said, absolutely. I said, will you put that in writing? They said, no problem, sir. They put it in writing. They said, Mr. Severs, you proved your case. What that social worker said about you was totally wrong. By the way, Sarah, that social worker lost her job. She just didn't just lose a job. She lost her career. Let me make this real clear to you, Sarah. That Rachel lady, I don't blame her. She was at fault. She did what I've always taught you not to do. You just don't take serious accusations on their word. You have to investigate, think, engage in critical thinking. Investigate. She was told these things about me, and she didn't investigate them. That's where she was at fault. But who told her those lies? Who told her those lies? Who told her those lies? Again, Sarah, don't ever lie in a court of law. Don't ever lie, period. And don't ever associate with people who lie. I don't care if they're an attorney or any other type of profession. If they've been caught not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times in lying about somebody in order to win a case or anything like that, you don't associate with people like that. You don't respect people like that. Some people have actually spent years in jail based on lies that the police might have done, based on false accusations or faulty accusations. It's wrong. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'll send this to you. I'll send this to your mother and your mother's husband, and I'll send this to some other family members because I want them to know. Before I kick off, I wanted them to know. And I'm also going to give records of the family court cases, the times I appeared in court before Judge O'Reilly and before Judge Brown. And I want you to know, you're at that age to where you're an adult, you can think, independent thinker. You're a solid critical thinker before now. You're one of the best chess players in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and definitely one of the best female chess players in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. What does that say? Intelligence, critical thinking. Okay? Now, I hear that you want to be a social worker. Hey, you've got to, number one, be a woman of character. Don't lie. Two, got to engage in critical thinking. Just because someone says something to you doesn't mean it's true. Check it out. All right, Sarah. Hope to hear from you soon. Daddy loves you.